Hey everyone, it's Andy Cahan from the Turtles. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show. We're going to sure have a lot of fun here on the Jim Masters Show and talk about my book, The Most Famous Musician You've Never Heard of. And we'll talk about all the fun I've had in the world of music with great celebrity people like Ringo Starr and Jimi Hendrix and Frank Zappa and Harry Nilsson and Jimmy Webb and Eric Carmen and Seals and Crofts and Little Richard and Chuck Berry and Dr. John. So many different people to talk about, and it's all in my book. So hi, Jim. It's great to be on your show.
Hey there, my friend. I love that intro. You are terrific.
Yeah, and I noticed your music is in the key of C. The very last chord on your opening music was the C chord.
That's exactly
I
right.
probably am
And most
right.
people, when they hear our theme song, whether it's the short version or that full version they just saw, usually the guests, you can see them down below in the queue window. They're usually going like this, like, hey, I kind of like that. It's kind of jazzy and snappy. So in the key of C, absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's for Khan, for your last name. See?
It certainly is.
We did it just for you. Welcome, my friend. Andy has been a guest on our show previously. You can go back in the archives and see the amazing extended conversation we had with Andy. He's got some new exciting things he's sharing with us. As he mentioned in the intro, a new book, his memoir is out. So many incredible stories, his decades in the music industry as a music legend, which he is. He's played with them all. He's worked with them all. And of course, he was in the Turtles, the iconic rock group, the Turtles as well. He's got some great stories he's going to share from his time with the Turtles. Andy, welcome back. And how have you been, my friend, since we chatted last time?
Well, I'm doing really good. I no longer have my sailboat, but I'm happy and I'm keeping busy writing music and playing music and promoting my book and just enjoying life. That's the main key, is to have a good time and not let stuff bother you, because we live in tough times right now. So
Yeah.
that music and entertainment will soothe the savage beast.
That's so right. Couldn't have said it better myself, my friend. Yeah, last time you were on your boat. You're at the marina on the boat getting things ready for the sail. And now you're at home in Palm Springs.
Yes,
But you love the ocean. You miss the ocean?
I love the ocean. I wish I was there all the time. I'm absolutely in love with the serenity of the ocean. It's wonderful.
Yeah, me too. You're on West Coast, we're on East Coast, and same thing. I love
Yeah.
the ocean. I talked about it many times here on our series. It just speaks to me. But you're there in the desert, so you're doing well in the desert, huh?
Yeah, hanging in there. I got a lot of good friends out here, and I'm doing some book signings at a couple of libraries and a music store. So I'm keeping busy.
That's terrific. You've been doing that for decades, of course, as the music man that you are, beloved in so many ways. There again is the book. Look at those photos and so many great stories and so many great memories. I was asking Andy before we went on if he misses those golden locks, that the long hair that he's got there, and how long did it take to grow it? He said it grew real quick. I was in my 20s. Do you miss the hair, my friend? That particular style? It was a cool style.
Yeah, I really, really, really do. I haven't had a haircut in about 40 years, literally. But my hair just won't grow. That's it. It's done growing.
It's in the annals of music history. Absolutely, my
Yeah.
friend. and of course, all the time and all the years with the iconic Turtles. The Turtles, of course, responsible for so much great music, and the memories that you've shared are incredible. One of the folks involved with the iconic group we just lost, Mark Volman, of course, and we send our love and condolences to his family. Of course, he, one of the founding members of the Turtles, and you and he together with the rest of the gang making extraordinary music. And we just lost him just a couple weeks ago, I think about a week ago, actually. And I know you wanted to share some thoughts and memories of Mark. I know a lot of people are thinking about Mark. He's on the top of mind lately, and it's sort of resurrecting the memories of the Turtles as well. Any thoughts and memories of the time with Mark? How did you guys meet? What was it like working and playing with him? And what are some thoughts about Mark while we pay our respects to that fine music man as well?
Well, we were all born in 1947. Mark Volman, Howard Kalin, and myself were all the same year. And when I met Mark in 1971, I think, uh, it was with Jimmy Carl Black. Frank Zappa was rehearsing for the movie 200 Motels. So Jimmy Carl Black and I went down to the rehearsal, and that's where I met Mark and Howard. And then later on in 1973, I joined the Turtles, and I performed with them for 40 years. And I have to tell you that because of Mark Volman and Howard Kalin, I wouldn't have met the amazing list of celebrity musicians that I grew up listening to in the 60s. We toured with everybody, and I got to meet everybody, from Tommy Rowe to Gary Puckett to Spanky and our gang to the grassroots to it just, Mark Lindsay. It's just amazing how many people I've met through Flo and Eddie, especially Harry Nielsen, who eventually turned me on to Ringo Starr. And I just loved Mark. We always had a lot of fun. We would play backgammon in our hotel rooms till all hours of the night. He was so hilarious, so funny, and so witty. I adore Flo and Eddie. Howard Kalin has the best rock and roll voice ever. He's right up there with McCartney and Lennon and everybody else. And Mark has a great voice. So their harmonies were uh, incredible. Bruce Springsteen used them for Hungry Heart and Blondie and Todd Rundgren. And the list goes on and on forever of all the famous records like Bang It Gone, Get It On by T Rex. That was Mark and Howard singing on that. And they also sang on a whole bunch more of the T Rex records. They were very, very close with Mark Bolan. But knowing Flo and Eddie has completely changed my life for the better. And I'm extremely grateful that I was able to work with the Turtles for 40 years.
Which is extraordinary. Some people don't work with any company for 40 years.
I
Uh,
know.
Sometimes even groups don't last that long. What do you think it is about? What's the secret with the Turtles that kept you guys together for that amount of time, preparing and celebrating life and music and living and all of it with all of us? What do you think the secret was or secrets?
Well, they were always on top of everything. They were, ahead of everybody else, and their business was amazing. Uh, they were the first band to use an East Coast band and a West Coast band, so the budget would work. Instead of flying musicians cross country, you would have people local that would be able to perform. And Mark invented that idea, and he actually told Gary Puckett and some other single artists about that, and they've adopted the same method of having two different bands on each coast to save budget with hotels and airplanes and everything. And their sense of humor and their creativity with all their parodies, it's absolutely amazing. They put on such a wonderful show. Uh, the audience would be laughing 99% of the show. Everybody would be cheering and laughing and having a ball because they are so much fun to watch and listen to. And they sing like their vocals are impeccable. They're perfect. They're so it's just been one wonderful, beautiful ride for 40 years with them.
Could you have imagined that length of time? And so that those were pivotal moments that brought you further in to the music industry, being connected with those people. And as you mentioned, uh, that led to a lot of other meetings and other collaborations and other folks in the music industry, other big names that you've had an opportunity to work with over the years, which is extraordinary. You mentioned, of course, Ringo Starr. Tell us about the time with the incomparable Ringo Starr. That must have been a pinch me moment. You can even see it on your face. You look like, my God, I'm here with Ringo
Oh,
Starr.
I'm in total shock. Yeah. Uh, Flo and Eddie were on K Rock in New York after Howard Stern, and they did an Alice Cooper, Clarence Clemens Oktoberfest at Universal City Studios. And they would have tent with that they would interview all these celebrity musicians, and I had my keyboard in the tent. So they would get Bobby Hatfield, and we did Unchained Melody in the tent, and Eric Burden, and We Got to Get Out of This Place, and Dean Torrance, and we would do Barbara Ann, and uh, it was just a lot of fun. The Monkees, Mickey Dolenz came, and we did I'm a Believer. I met Harry Nielsen in that tent, and then Harry and I became really, really close friends. And he recorded 35 songs in my living room with me. And I always wanted to meet Ringo. So I said, Harry, is there any chance we can meet Ringo? And so one day he brings Ringo over to my living room. And what's amazing about that is back in 1968, when I first moved to California, I had a premonition, like a daydream, that a Beatle was in my house and he was sitting next to me and he had his shoes off. Well, when Harry brought Ringo to my living room, he sat next to me and he took his shoes off. And we recorded some children's stories, and it was so much fun. And then after that, we hopped in Harry's Mercedes and drove to Ringo's house, and we were hanging out, and Barbara Bach was there, and we were all sitting in the living room, and Ringo had two acoustic guitars on either side of his couch, a red one and a blue one with the Ringo Starr inlay in the fretboard. So I said to Ringo, "Do you mind if I play one of your guitars?" He said, "Sure, go right ahead." So I picked up a guitar and I started strumming in G, right? Boom, chan, dun, ka-chang. And then Harry started to sing in a baritone voice. I listen for your footsteps coming up the drive. And then Ringo joins in, but he sang the song in the key of C, which is a fifth away from G. So here I am playing the guitar with Ringo and Harry singing Don't Pass Me By in fifths. It was absolutely hilarious. That doesn't happen every day.
No,
To
it
sit
doesn't.
in Ringo's house and sing with Ringo and Harry. That was absolutely amazing.
Also, spending time with Chubby Checker of the Twist as well. Uh, that was an amazing moment too, right? He
Yeah,
actually chased
we
you in
did.
a hotel lobby.
Yeah, yeah. This is funny as hell. We played a hippie concert where we dressed up like hippies with the tie-dye shirts and the bandanas, and Felix Cavalieri and Chubby Checker and the Turtles. So we did the show. It was fantastic. Hung out with Chubby, hung out with Felix. Everything was great. The next morning, we're checking out at the hotel. And down the hallway in the distance was Chubby Checker and his mother sitting in a wheelchair. So I'm looking at Chubby, he's looking at me, and he gives me this maniacal, like crazy look on his face. And then he starts running down the hallway, pushing his mom in the wheelchair, running right at me. And then right before he hits me, I jump out of the way, and his mother and Chubby were laughing. So I almost got run over by Chubby Checker's mom in a wheelchair.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. I tell
I
you,
know. It's just, there's so many
rolling,
funny stories.
not rolling down the river, but Andy was almost rolling down the hotel lobby. Wow, what a
Yeah.
story. Also, too, time with another legend, Little Richard. And this was really something quite special for you, too, right? Because this involved the Grammys.
Yeah. I was an organ player with Little Richard for 3 years. I got the job through my drummer friend Craig Cramp, and so Bumps Blackwell was Little Richard's manager and co-writer. He wrote co-wrote Tutti Frutti and Good Golly and Rip It Up and all the songs with Little Richard. Anyways, so the Grammys invited Little Richard and Chuck Berry to give away the award for the best song of the year. And so at rehearsal, it was a upright piano in this little small back room at the studio, and Little Richard was there, me, and Chuck Berry had his guitar. So Chuck was standing right in front of me with his guitar. Little Richard was next to me, and we rehearsed all of their hit records. And to me, that was the most amazing thing that can possibly happen, because the reason I became a musician was because of the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show. And John Lennon idolized Chuck Berry, and Paul McCartney idolized Little Richard. And here I was, full circle, sitting with Little Richard and Chuck Berry on the Grammys. So that was completely, totally amazing.
These are just some of the stories, folks, that are in the book, and you're going to definitely want to get a copy of the book. And there's photos and just all kinds of amazing things. Uh, what was it like taking the time to, compile all of the memories and the details and all the information, and just were you did you have a journal? Were you keeping record of things in your life as things were going along? Or did you have to do a ton of archival, painstaking digging to put all of it together in this incredible book? And incredible as,
Yes,
yeah.
throughout my entire life, I've been a pack rat. I save everything when I'm on the road. I save hats, T-shirts, uh, letters, contracts, stickers, uh, posters, articles. All I saved everything. And one day, I'm going through my stuff, and I said, "Oh my God! Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Seals and Croft, Dr. John, Harry Nielsen, Ringo Starr, Jimmy Webb, Eric Carmen. Look at all these people I've worked with." So I literally scanned all these photos and posters and built the book. And I didn't actually type the lyric. I spoke into my telephone, so I'd look at the pictures and I'd tell stories about the pictures. Then I would send that to my editor, Jeff Tamarkin, who did a book with Howard Kalin and also a book with Jefferson Starship. And he was head of um, Goldmine magazine. He was the editor, and Jeff is incredible. He's interviewed everybody, but thank goodness he helped me design the book, and get rid of fuzzy photos and use the good stuff, and help me design it. So the book came out really, really good. I'm very, very happy with it.
Oh, it's a
And I
terrific.
did do
Yeah.
a book signing at the Grammy Museum and in Nashville, and I got a couple of book signings coming up here in the desert. So I'm plugging away.
You started out as a New York kid, right? Tell us about those early days and how all of that shaped who you are today.
Yeah, well, as I said, when the Beatles came out on Ed Sullivan, I immediately started a band in junior high school, and we would rehearse every day. And I had a Farfisa combo compact organ. It was the same thing they use on 96 Tears or Come On Down to My Boat Baby, or what's that other one? you know, Anyhow, it's a cheesy organ sound that everybody used. The Paul Revere and the Raiders used it. Sam the Sham, Wooly Bully. That's all the same organ. So we started a band called the Individuals in New York, and we rehearsed every day, and we ended up winning all of the Battle of the Bands contests in Westchester County, which was New Rochelle and Rye and Mamaroneck and Harrison and Scarsdale and Larchmont and all that. So that was really exciting. Uh, and then one day, my lead singer, who was a crazy guy, he decided to steal my movie camera that I was making monster movies with, and he sold it to a pawn shop. So I got very, very upset, and I decided to steal his girlfriend. So I called her up. I said, "I'm moving to California. You want to come?" She said, "Sure." So I stole his girlfriend and we went to California. But unfortunately, we got busted in Oklahoma for not paying at a gas station. And I got arrested, and they told me to cut all my hair off. And it's all in the book. It's really funny stories. So I had a band in New York City in the early 60s because of the Beatles on Ed Sullivan. And I was playing the Farfisa Combo Compact in this band, and we won all of the Battle of the Bands in Westchester County. We were great. We rehearsed every day, and my mom actually made our uniforms. Like the Beatles had their Nehru jackets, my mom sewed us baby blue Nehru jackets, and we wore our Beatle boots with the black pants. So it was cool. It was very cool in those days.
That's fantastic. And when you told the family you were headed out to the West Coast, and you mentioned there was a little brief stop there in Oklahoma involving a gas station and all of that, on your way to LA, were they supportive? Were they excited? Were they like, you go, kid, and make magic? Or were they nervous that you were leaving home and hearth, in the New York area?
Oh, well, to make a long story short, my lead singer was a thief. He would steal cars and he would steal stuff. So one day he came into my house and stole my movie camera that I made all my monster movies with. And I got angry and I wanted to get revenge. So I called his girlfriend up. I said, "Would you like to go to California with me?" And so she said, "Yeah." So, in revenge for him stealing my movie camera, I stole his girlfriend. And we drove in my VW bus from New York to LA. And unfortunately, her job was to go into the glove compartment and pull out money and pay at a gas station. She forgot to do it in Oklahoma. So we got pulled over by two Oklahoma Highway Patrol cars and we got arrested. And the only way I could talk to the judge was if I cut all my hair off, and then I was able to talk to the judge. And then the judge says, how much money you got on you, boy? And I said, $75. And he said, pay the man. And he hung up the phone, and I was released from jail. But my bus was impounded, and I had to call my mom and have her Western Union some money. So that was my trip from New York to LA. But amazingly enough, 2 weeks after I landed in LA, my mom got me a job at a record company that her friend owned. His name was Irwin Garr, and the company was called Pulsar Records. And a couple of acts on it was Dr. John the Night Tripper and Graham Bond. So through that, I found myself in the recording studio with Jimi Hendrix, Mitch Mitchell, Jack Cassidy, Lowell George, and Graham Bond. It was the most amazing time of my life. It was I was only 20 years old, jamming with all of these heavyweight
Mm.
celebrity musicians.
What was it?
Really amazing.
Oh, absolutely. What was it like jamming with another icon, Jimi Hendrix? That must have been another pinch me moment, Andy, huh?
Oh yeah, that was in that recording studio. Jimmy came in behind me. I felt him come in behind me, and I turned around, and there he is with two blonde chicks, one holding his amp and one holding his guitar. And he sets up right next to me, and I tuned him up in A, and we did the blues in A for a couple hours, and it was incredible, totally incredible.
So many incredible stories that we're talking about, highlighting some of the memories shared in his book. I love the title of the book too. Although most people probably would beg to differ and say, we know who Andy Cahan is. He is an icon on many levels, but it is the most famous musician you've never heard of. Celebrated extraordinary keyboardist, of course, with the Turtles as well. But you dabbled with drums too and singing along the way too, didn't you, my friend?
Oh, absolutely. I played. I started out on the drums, then I went to the keyboard, then I went to guitar, then I went to bass. So there were times when I would cut demos on my TAC 4 track, uh, and lay down the piano, lay down the drums, lay down the guitar, lay down the bass, make a sub mix, and put on vocals. So I always love creativity. I always love music. Uh, it's my favorite way to spend the day is playing music.
Absolutely. And for decades you have, and it's been just running through your bloodstream and your veins, my friend. And we are the lucky ones for that. So many great stories too. Um, you mentioned how the great actor and musician Billy Bob Thornton sort of scared you almost half to death when you were recording together. What happened there, Andy?
Yeah, Howard Kalin and I decided to make a solo album for Howard of 10 of his favorite songs that he never recorded. So as the demo doctor, I recorded all 10 songs with Howard in my living room. Then a mutual friend of ours, David Spiro, who ran the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, said that Billy Bob Thornton offered his studio to us to finish the album. So we ended up at Billy Bob Thornton's studio, and Billy Bob did a cameo on one of the songs called Music, and it was amazing. But one night, we're sitting in the control room at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and Holly Williams, who was Hank Williams Jr.'s daughter, she was there, and Billy Bob and me. And he's drinking his Ripple wine. I'm smoking a joint with Holly. And so I said to Billy Bob, I would love to meet Carl. Now, Carl is the lead character in the movie that he wrote called Sling Blade. And Carl is a very, very scary guy. So anyhow, Billy Bob looks at me and he turns around in the studio chair and shrugs his shoulders and kind of messes up his hair a little bit. And then he turns around and he looks at me and he rubs his hands and he goes, "Ah, I'm here with a turtle." Ah, ah. And he scared the living heck out of me. It was, if you've ever seen Sling Blade, you know that Carl is a scary guy.
Still have nightmares about that time, I would imagine, once in a
Oh,
while.
it was hilarious, and it was really amazing to have Billy Bob give me a, a Carl. That was
Oh,
great.
unbelievable, too. And you mentioned, of course, the relationship with Frank Zappa. The opportunity to meet him and be in the popular band with several of Frank Zappa's original members of Mothers of Invention, another very important time in your life, right?
Absolutely. When I met Jimmy Carl Black and Roy Estrada in 1968 through my friend Scooby at the Musicians Union, they came over and I had my harpsichord and I played them a bunch of stuff. And they said, let's start a band. So Jimmy had a son named Geronimo. So we decided to call the band Geronimo Black. And through Jimmy, I met all of the original mothers of invention: Roy Estrada, Ray Collins, Don Preston, Elliot Ingber, Motorhead Sherwood, Bunk Gardner, Buzz Gardner, Ian Underwood, Ruth Underwood, Artie Tripp. I met all these guys, and I decided to put out an album on Rhino Records called The Grandmothers, all the original mothers without Zappa doing their original stuff. But what was really terrific is when I was with Geronimo Black playing gigs, Frank Zappa would come up on the stage and jam with us. And then later on, when I joined Flo and Eddie and the Turtles, since they did the 200 Motels and a bunch of albums with Zappa, Frank would come up on the stage with the Turtles and jam with us. So I was able to perform with Frank Zappa in two different bands. And then later he wrote a song for Jimmy Carl Black and he invited Motorhead Sherwood and Jimmy and I over to his Mulholland Drive house. And we went and Frank showed us a song he wrote called Falling in Love is a Stupid Habit, which is on YouTube. If you Google Zappa Falling in Love is a Stupid Habit, you'll hear me playing piano with Frank singing. So meeting Frank was absolutely wonderful. Very nice guy, extremely nice guy, and very mellow and very smart. As a matter of fact, he came to one of our Geronimo Black recording sessions that we recorded at Larrabee Studios, owned by Carole King and Goffin. And Frank sat in the control room while we recorded this song. And he complimented me. He says, "Great song, love it."
Mm.
So
Have you
another
talked to?
episode of wonderment.
Right, exactly. Have you
Yeah.
ever stayed in touch with Frank Zappa's kids or heard from
Oh
them?
no, I saw Moon Zappa over at Billy Bob Thornton's one day. She came over. Yeah, a lot of people would have visited Billy Bob while we were recording the album. Don was, the engineer musician guy, and like I said, Holly Williams Jr. But anyway, it was just really amazing, amazing stuff.
So many amazing stories too that you're sharing that are part of music history. You mentioned Eric Carmen, of course, all by myself fame. Tell us about the time with Eric Carmen, another great singer.
Well, his secretary saw an advertisement in the Music Connection magazine about the demo doctor, and there I was with Ringo Starr. So his secretary calls me up and says, Eric Carmen would like to come in and record in your studio. And I said, Eric Carmen? All by myself, Eric Carmen? And she said, yeah. So he came in and we recorded 12 songs that he had to get out of a publishing deal. So he had to submit 12 songs to get out of the publishing deal so he can continue with another publisher. So we recorded 12 songs that he wrote pre Raspberries, before he was in the Raspberries. And he was a great guy. He told me some great stories. He actually told me about how Badfinger wrote this song, Without You. Can't live if living is without you. And that Harry Nilsson was in the studio when he heard it, and that's when he got the inspiration to go and record that. So pretty good stories. Yeah, he was also in the studio with the Rolling Stones, and Mick and Keith made a mess of the bathroom doing some kind of drugs, and the janitor had to repaint the bathroom two or three times during
Mhm.
that whole period because Mick and Keith were making a mess.
Got a little wild in there, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So this is from Eric Carmen.
Wow, that's
Pretty
amazing.
great guy. What a sweetheart, and what a
Great
very
voice.
talented.
Yeah.
He played really good guitar, really good bass, and really amazing piano. His piano playing was incredible. Really good piano player.
Another wonderful person too in the music industry, spending time with Linda Ronstadt, and I believe you're also there with Jimmy Webb too, right? And what a great photo this is.
Yeah, that photo was taken at Record One Studios in Studio City. Jimmy Webb wrote a song called What Does a Woman See in a Man? And Harry Nilsson loved it. So Harry said, come on, let's go. We went to the studio, and Linda Ronstadt was producing an album for Jimmy Webb with another guy. I can't remember his name. Anyway, so Harry said to Jimmy, I want you to come over to Andy's house and lay down the piano for What Does a Woman See in the Man? So we kidnapped Jimmy out of the Linda Ronstadt recording studio, drove to my house, and sat him down at my plastic synthesizer, which he hated because he's a grand piano guy, like a real grand piano with the weighted keys. So he refused. He says, I'm not going to play this. This is horrible. But Harry and I convinced him, come on, you can do it, just do it. So we convinced him to lay down the piano on these plastic keyboards, and it came out great. So we recorded that, and it was later released on an album uh, called Lost and Found that Mark Hudson produced. But unfortunately, like there were three songs that I recorded with Harry on that album, but they didn't give me any credit. It was a very uncomfortable situation. So that was that. But
Hmm.
working with Harry Nielsen was absolutely amazing.
Mm. So many great people that you've had an opportunity to work with. Look at this shot here.
Oh boy, yeah, that was at the Doobie Brothers Fall Classic. The Turtles were invited for 9 years in a row to play at the Doobie Brothers Winery in Sonoma, Glen Ellen, and one of the acts on the show was Todd. So I was completely knocked out, and you can see. Look at the size of my head and look at the size of his head. It's like double my size. He was huge, and his hands were enormous. He was a really big guy. But that was really great meeting Todd. At the airport, he was telling me a story that he recorded an album on Pro Tools, and he didn't back it up. And then one day, the computer crashed, and he lost the entire album, all that work. So he had to re-record the album again. So that was a lesson he learned about backing up your electronic recordings so you don't get stuck and have to re-record the whole album again.
Absolutely right. Technology can really get you sometimes,
Oh boy,
as we
yeah.
know. Rubbing elbows also with Clint Eastwood too, huh?
Oh, that was amazing. I uh, I was doing demos in the desert, and this lady who was 92 years old was a poet, and she wanted me to put music to her poetry, which I did. And then she took me out to dinner at this restaurant called Hog's Breath, and it just so be that it was Clint Eastwood's restaurant in La Quinta, California. So I got to meet Clint several times, and he was just a sweetheart, really nice guy, and he enjoyed my piano playing, and that was really exciting. You know, I worked with the Turtles for 40 years, and one time in 1980, we had two keyboards on stage. Peter Zale played the synthesizer and the horns and the strings and all that. And I was with the grand piano, the Hammond B3, and the Wurlitzer electric piano. But the budget didn't allow for two keyboard players. So we decided to go on the road as a 2.5 man show, which was just me playing the Fender keyboard bass, the same instrument that Ray Manzarek used in the Doors, the left-hand bass, and a Yamaha electric piano, and a Rhythm King drum machine. So I was the entire band. I was bass, piano, and drums, and Mark Volman played guitar, and it was just the three of us on stage, and it was like a vaudeville act, showing movies and slides and talking about the career of Flo and Eddie with their surf music, with the Crossfires, and then the Turtles, and then working with Frank Zappa and all that stuff. And it was a really, really funny show. We did a bunch of parodies on Stevie Nicks and Mick Jagger and the Village People. But the favorite one was called Pink Flo and Eddie's The Fence. Instead of Pink Floyd's The Wall, it was Pink Floyd, Flo and Eddie's The Fence. And it was a rattan fence, and we'd open it up onto the stage, and they would play another brick in the wall, but sped up like the chipmunks.
Yeah.
We don't need no education. And then we would throw all these stuffed animals and airplanes and giraffes and hippos over the wall and dance around, and it was so hilarious. It was one of the highlights of the whole show was doing that routine, which you can still see on YouTube if you Google Flo and Eddie 2.5 man show. You can see that performance. Really great.
So many great performances, so many great things that you've had an opportunity to be a part of. Also, in addition, you've tackled also songwriting and production and band leading too, as well, right?
Yeah, I wrote two songs with Jimmy Seals. I wrote a song with Dr. John the Night Tripper. I wrote a whole bunch of songs with a lot of different. Uh, 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 my brain doesn't work right now, but anyhow, who was some of the early artists on Apple Records? James Taylor, Mary Hopkins, and
Mhm.
the other guy, the guitar player singer. Uh, anyhow, I worked with him too. I can't remember his name.
So
I,
many
I got
people.
a senior moment.
Right. But some of the stories that you are recalling are really amazing. You speaking of iconic groups, there was a soft rock duo that actually took your advice, and the advice was to change their name. And by changing their name, it led to this enormous success. And it's a legendary group. We all know, we've heard their music for years. Everybody loves their music. but you encouraged them, the soft rock duo, to, when they were looking for different names, to go with this particular name that's a household name now. Tell us about that story and about that iconic group.
Yeah, Jimmy Seals uh, sang lead and played saxophone. Dash Crofts played the drums and sang lead. Tom Edward Bogan was on bass, and Johnny Trumpeter was on guitar. And it was a top 40 band that I was in with Jimmy Seals and Dash Crofts. And during the break, they would get up on the stage as a duo and do their little duo music. So we're sitting at the table during break, and Jimmy and Dash belong to the Baha'i religion. And the leader of the Baha'is religion was Baha'u'llah. That was his name. So Jimmy and Dash are looking at me and they go, Andy, we're trying to think of a name for the duo, and we thought of Baha'u'llah. What do you think? And I laughed and I said, Abbott and Costello, uh, Tom and Jerry, uh, Laurel and Hardy. How about Seals and Crofts? And they looked at me and laughed and said, okay. So I was the guy who brought up the name Seals and Crofts at that table at our gig.
That's amazing. Good thing you did. They're very, very talented, but the name just solidified everything, and that's an
Yeah,
amazing thing.
yeah. I just wanted to say that Jimmy Seals wrote "Summer Breeze" in my living room. See, when he would come over and we'd write songs together, he'd always insist that I'd have cantaloupe. He loved cantaloupe. So I made sure we had cantaloupe. And my yard had a lot of jasmine in my yard. So it always smelled wonderful. So we're sitting in my living room and he's writing, Summer breeze makes me feel fine. And he couldn't think of what to sing after that. And then he thought of the jasmine. And then he said, blowing through the jasmine of my mind. So he actually wrote that line in my living room.
Holy cow! That story I didn't realize. So that jasmine that you had in your yard is the jasmine he's referring to, and the summer breezes and all of that you had in that yard. Wow. Um, mm, that's what a story, huh? A
I got
great
tons
song
of,
too. When you hear that song and all of these songs we're talking about, it just makes you feel good. What do you think it is about all of this music of this time period that still resonates with people today? Why do they crave it? Why do they still love listening to it? And why does it still make them feel so good?
well, a, I love the British invasion. The Beatles, the Stones, the Bo Brummels, the Kinks, the Zombies, Petula Clark, the Dave Clark Five. It goes, the Animals. All that music was very, very memorable to me. The lyrics and the melodies and the chords. I love the British invasion. I wish I was living in that era all the time because I don't enjoy hip hop and rap for some reason. I don't like it, uh, and I'm a strong believer in real instruments instead of programming. Although I did do that demo doctor programming for 12 years, it still sounded okay. But I just love music, and it's my life, and that's all I want to do.
And being the entrepreneur, we're talking about, all the time with the Turtles and just this epic career, but you've also been an entrepreneur, an independent entrepreneur, launching your own record label and demo production company along the way too. And you talk about that in the book as well.
Yeah, I started Panda Records after I approached Harold Bronson of Rhino Records. Since I knew all the original members of the Mothers of Invention, I put together a package called the Grandmothers, which is all of their music without Frank Zappa. and it sold 10,000 copies in the first 3 months, which was more than Rhino Records ever sold. So that was really good. And then we put out a volume two. And then with the money I earned, I started my own record company, and I put out a white vinyl square record called the Official Grandmother's Fan Club Talk Album. And it was just all the guys talking about what it was like with Zappa, with sound effects and little spurts of music. And that did very, very well. I manufactured that and sold it out of my living room. And my kids would be on the living room floor with me, stuffing the albums into the packages. Really amazing. And I also had a leaf shaped picture disc that I put out. I'll show you real quick. It's right here. See if you can see it.
Ah, there it is.
It's a it's a record. It's a 45 RPM record of the Leads doing "Hey Joe," and I also put out a panda picture disc, which is the shape of a panda, which is my logo for my record company, and that's a record. It actually plays like a record. So in my little record company, I put out all these die cut picture discs.
How cool is
So
that, huh?
yeah, I just wanted to show you that.
That is
So it
fantastic.
was a successful business. So I've been on all sides of the fences. You know, I had my record company, I had my demo doctor studio. I was music director for the Grammys, music director for the Turtles. You know, recording with Ringo and Harry and
What's it
Jimmy
like?
Webb and
What's it like being
Eric
a music?
Carmen.
Yeah, Eric Carmen. What's it like being a music director for the Grammys? That's a real prestigious honor.
Oh, that was one of the major highlights of my life. The Beatles on Ed Sullivan were the reason I started a band. And John Lennon idolized Chuck Berry, and Paul McCartney idolized Little Richard. So I was playing with Little Richard, touring the country, and we got a call. They wanted to have Little Richard and Chuck Berry do the Grammys and give away the best record of the year, which was given to Stevie Wonder for Ain't Too Superstitious. And so at rehearsal, it was an upright piano backstage, and Chuck was standing there with his guitar, and Little Richard was standing right next to me, and we rehearsed all of their hit songs that we were going to use in the show. And to me, that was like a full circle. Here I am loving the Beatles, and now I'm working with the Beatles idols, Richard and Chuck. So that to me was like amazing. And that video is on my YouTube channel as well.
Extraordinary, truly. Amazing. Are you
Yeah,
still doing music? Are you still creating? Are you still dabbling as you go along? I know you're enjoying life. You've certainly put the time in. You've written this beautiful memoir, but are you always thinking of songs? Does music still play in your head?
absolutely. I've been smoking marijuana since 1965, and I always depended on it for creativity. So I'd get high, smoke a joint, and start playing piano. So that's how I would write songs. And you know, I'd love to just sit down and get stoned and play piano, and I'd tape it. You know, have a little. Uh, I would record it, and then I'd go back, listen to it, see what sounded good and what didn't, and that's how I would write songs. So I still do that, and I'm still performing. I have a trio. We perform in the desert at different places, and I play dinner music at a country club called the Desert Princess. It's just a white grand piano at the dining room. So I play 3 hours without stopping.
What kind
All
of
these
music?
all these great piano pieces from the
Is it?
Beatles, Stones,
Yeah.
British Invasion, uh, all that stuff. And it's a great gig. My tip money is flowing over the jar. So, I really have a lot of fun and I make a lot of friends. And I'm very, very fortunate to play music. That's for sure.
Absolutely right, my friend. And continuing today, do you get into other types of music as well? Do you touch the, American songbook or other music genres as well?
Actually, I'm stuck. I'm stuck in the 60s. I like some of the 70s, like Neil Young and all that. But I'm stuck in the British invasion. And so that's the music I play on stage. It's the same music I played in 1965 with my band. The set list is the same set list that I use today. Same songs.
Wow.
So that's my love of music, is that era, in the 60s.
And you're introducing it to newer generations too, who might not have heard it before, or maybe a little bit on the radio or, downloads, what have you. And now they're getting to hear it from the actual gentleman himself. And look at this shot.
Oh boy, that was last September, September 18th. I visited Mark Volman in Nashville, and he had Louis dementia,
Yeah.
which makes it so you can't remember anything. You hallucinate. You
Yeah.
see stuff that's not there. So that was the last time I saw Mark. Was a year ago, and he was unable to tour, because of the dementia. And then, of course, back in 2019, Howard had a stroke,
Mm,
so he couldn't tour. So
yeah.
they had Ron Dante of the Archies to sing lead for the Turtles,
Oh, yeah.
and they had a Turtles Happy Together tour CD, with the association and the Cowsills and uh, all the acts on the tour, Gary Puckett, whatever. But they didn't want Ron Dante to sing Happy Together. They wanted Howard Kalin to sing Happy Together. So Mark Volman told Howard to come over to my house, and I had my Pro Tools, and so we sat there, and he sang "Happy Together" on the track from the Happy Together tour band. So that was the definitive version of "Happy Together," and the very last time Howard sang "Happy Together" was in my living room.
I tell you, your living room and your yard has been responsible for a lot of iconic music. It's incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing how many people have been in my living room.
And you'll have to do a song that pays homage to the living room and to the yard.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Oh, there's Tim Bogart from the Vanilla Fudge. Now, that guy was the most amazing bass player I've ever heard in my life. He played like a guitar. He'd do all these solos with chords and everything on the bass. And he always stuck a cigarette in the machine heads at the end of the neck, so the it would burn the end of his guitar. But his vocals, he had the most amazing high screaming clear voice. He was an incredible, incredible musician, and I'm so fortunate I got to play at the world famous Palomino nightclub in the San Fernando Valley, and I got that on YouTube as well. And there's my idol of all idols, this guy George Carlin. I wish I could be just like him. He's my favorite of all. I love George Carlin, and that was really strange meeting him. He was performing at the Fantasy Springs Casino in Indio, and I got to go backstage. but there was nobody backstage. He didn't have an entourage. He didn't have a bunch of people with him. All he had was a bottle of water, a stool, and a list of the routines he was going to do that night. So I had a camera, and we took that little selfie that was backstage. And I told him, George, if you ever should decide to run for ruler of the world, I'll run your campaign for you. So we laughed, and that was great. There's Howard Kalin, the lead singer of the Turtles. He has the best voice ever, ever, ever. He can sound like Mick Jagger. He can sound like anybody. He really could color his voice amazingly. And between him and Mark doing the vocals, uh, everybody loved him. T Rex, Bang a Gong, Get It On, Hungry Heart with Bruce Springsteen, and Duran Duran and Blondie, and tons, Todd Rundgren. But Howard, to me, is one of the best singers ever, ever. Great singer and terrific guy and great sense of humor. And I love Flo and Eddie. I will always love them.
You know, you've the book itself, for those joining us, the most famous musician you've never heard of, uh, really is being described as a rock and roll joyride, dotted with cameo appearances by such unlikely characters as Al Pacino's father, Roseanne Barr, and John Goodman, Roy Bolger of Wizard of Oz, and numerous other oddball hangers. um, it really is amazing that the people involved. It's more than 300 pages packed with eye-poppingly cool photos from your own private collection. It's part scrapbook, part, well, so much of your life you've poured into this, part you, part everything, really. It's all you, not part you. It's part scrapbook. It's your heart and soul. It's you pouring it all out for all of us, which I think is incredible. It's part diary as well as part scrapbook. And everybody says completely fascinating. There it is on the screen, folks. It's just some of the photos that we've shown you here. So you are doing book signings and all kinds of different things coming up, right? Q&As. I know there's coming up as
Yes.
well.
Yeah, I do question and answer and show videos of the Grammys and the Turtles and all this other stuff with Harry Nielsen. So it's really an entertainment thing, and people can get a copy of my book and I'll autograph it, and it's it's fun doing book tours. When I did the Grammy Museum book signing, there's a band from Canada. They're called the Dreamboats, and these are the most amazing band I've ever seen. They put on an incredible show. They jump all over the stage. They sing. They play. So they did the Grammy Museum book signing with me, and that was very, very successful. So, I like doing book signings. They're a lot of fun.
It's funny because a
Lot.
lot of people always they're like, "Oh my God, I got to go from here to here to here. What a drag!" Etc. But you enjoy it because you enjoy meeting the people, the fans, and you really
I love.
you,
I
you've always
love meeting people.
you've always respected and appreciated them, and they know that, and that's why they love you and continue to support you. Andy, is because they know that you've always appreciated and understood how they felt and feel about your music and time with you
Yes.
well spent, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a ball doing that. It's so much fun.
What
So
else do
much
you
fun.
have coming up that you're excited about that you maybe you're working on or just things you're looking forward to in and out of the world of music?
Well, I'm still trying to get a major publishing deal on the book and my music because I'm limited with the algorithms of Instagram and Facebook. I can only reach X amount of people, and that's it. So
It's tough. It's a whole
it
new
takes
world, isn't it?
yeah, you have to have a budget to do PR,
You actually have to
and
spend money to.
and Rogers and Cowan, which is a huge PR firm, they charge $6,000 a month for 3 months, and they can't guarantee anything, but that's what they charge to promote you. So I don't have all that money to spend. I wish I did, but it takes podcasts like this and Facebook and Instagram, and I don't do TikTok or tweet, but I do Facebook and Instagram.
That's it.
Yeah.
I know. Speaking of which, everybody who's enjoying this episode of the Jim Masters Show, entertainment, lifestyle, celebrity talk show series, give this episode a thumbs up, like, drop a comment right here, right now, below.
Yeah.
Let us know what you enjoyed about this conversation with music icon Andy Cahan returning. This is his encore visit here at the Jim Masters Show, celebrating his epic career, all of his behind the scenes stories, and his new book as well, his memoir, which has been a labor of love, something he's worked on for a long time. And drop a comment below. What are some of your favorite songs from the Turtles and Andy and some of the people we've talked about? And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. We would absolutely love that. And click that notification bell so you never miss any of our great episodes as well, with terrific guests like our friend Andy here. So you're in a sweet spot. You're loving life and you're appreciating all that's come your way, and you're celebrating it in style, my friend, with the book and with meeting and greeting everyone. The book you can get at Amazon and Barnes and Noble, all the places that books are sold. It's something that is a great coffee table reference to, as much as it is his memoir, it is a historical record to this book. So there's a lot of bits of information that Andy shares personally from his memories and heart and soul that are actual part of the historical record. Wouldn't you say, Andy?
Absolutely. It's a rock and roll history book with a lot of pictures.
Because you love picture books.
I
Exactly.
love picture books.
Me too.
Yeah.
I always did too. It helps to enhance the story. So when you are, showing photos of all of these amazing people that you've had an opportunity to know and meet and work with and perform with, and we've just really scratched the surface on just a few of them. Of course, there you go with there's Linda Ronstadt and Jimmy Webb and Harry and Panda. And just really
Yeah.
amazing. You are in the annals of history as well, Andy, and with the Turtles and all the independent work that you've done yourself. And this was another hoot, holler, and blast. And of course, he's on the socials as well, so you can follow him there. And get that book, folks. You're going to get a couple copies, maybe for gift giving, things of that nature. I encourage that. You have friends and family who are music lovers and love the Turtles or just all of this epic information we've been sharing with you. Andy would love that, and I think you'll love it too. Andy, my friend, another great conversation. Thanks for all of the time, your wit and wisdom, these rare, iconic behind-the-scenes stories that you've shared, and just really scratching the surface. The book fills in all the other blanks as well, but it is, again, 300 pages of your life in print for all to really soak up and savor. And I truly hope you enjoy your time with me once again, as I have with you, Andy.
Oh, I had a ball. I love talking with you, Jim. It's always a lot of fun. You're terrific. And I love your show. You have such a variety. It's great. I love it.
I love having you here too, my friend. And thanks for those compliments. Again, last time he was on his boat at the marina. This time he's in Palm Springs, surrounded by all of his goodies and his life, and a real pleasure having you here. Come see us again, my friend, and continue to spread the word about the Jim Masters Show series. We would love that.
I shall. I'll make sure that I go social media crazy.
Let's go viral, as they say, right? You always have a home here. And we said last time we would keep the porch light on for you. I'm a man of my word. You're back with us. And again, congratulations on the book. And of course, we take a moment to remember, of course, Mark Volman, who was a dear friend and colleague of yours in the Turtles. You've known him all these years, a big part of your life as well. And thanks so much for sharing those last moments with him, as well as, the earlier years and all the great moments and laughs. And he won't be forgotten as well. You're a blast, my friend. Thanks for being as real and open as you are. You wear your heart on your sleeve. And really a cool conversation here on the Jim Masters Show. We'll keep that light on for you, and you're welcome back anytime, okay?
All right. Thank you so much, Jim. I'm very grateful. A lot of fun. Thank you.
Same here. You're very welcome. Now go make a sandwich. I bet you're hungry.
I am.
Go make a sandwich. All right. You be well, my friend. Take care. And thanks for joining us.
All right. You're so welcome, and have a great day. Great night.
Great day, great morning, great day, wherever everybody's watching around the world. Just have a great time, and put some of Andy's music on, and the Turtles and all, and you'll be having a great time. Thanks for all the years of music. Keep it coming for us, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon. You be well.
Okay, sounds great.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. Take care.
You too. Incredible icon on our show, spending some time with us, sharing his personal stories, his moments, a few laughs. This was his return visit, and always a great time with Andy on our show. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, of course, leave a comment for us below. What are some of your favorite songs? We're talking about Andy Cahan here on the show, music legend from the Turtles, and so much more. And we even took a moment to leave a memory or two in our minds about Mark Volman, founding member of the Turtles, who just passed away recently. So some beautiful memories that his buddy and his music compatriot shared. Great stories about Little Richard and George Carlin and so many of the others, Eric Carmen, and the time with Ringo, and of course all the years, 40 years with the Turtles, the iconic group. The book, again, is available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble and all the great places books are sold. Great stories in the most famous musician you've never heard of. I love that because everybody knows who he is, but it's a funny title. I love it. And of course, great stories about that trip to Oklahoma, going from New York out to LA to make magic, and he had to cut his hair. I wonder what was harder, getting arrested because of the lack of funds for the gas at the gas station, or having to cut the hair, or having to call mom back home in New York and ask for a few bucks to cover the cost of the gas and everything else. Great stories we shared. You can follow us on Instagram and also Facebook, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Jim Masters TV. Come say hi, everybody. Give this episode a like, drop a comment below, subscribe to our YouTube channel if you haven't yet. For those of you who have done that already, if you've done that already, we thank you so very, very much. It means the world to us when you do that. Lets us know you're enjoying our series and you want more from the Jim Masters Show. So there's a thumbs up, share this on your social media, and subscribe to Jim Masters TV, that's the YouTube channel, and drop a comment below. We thank you for that. All right, we always say don't forget to love one another, take care of one another, and don't forget to do the very same for yourself. Speaking of music icons, we've had a few, lots here on our show, but we talk about everything. As Andy said, this show has variety, so it isn't just music. We have television stars, we have chefs, we have so many people, because it is a celebrity talk show series more than it is just an interview show. This is a talk show like the old school talk shows, with a modern vibe, modern flair, bring about that lost art of conversation. There have been a few who've stopped by, because we were recently celebrating our 5th anniversary, which is hard to believe, in some 1,400 episodes of our series, who had some wonderful things, and we've been sharing on some of our episodes some of those things that they've been saying. Folks like Melissa Manchester.
Hi, Jim Masters. Melissa Manchester here wishing you a heartfelt congratulations on the 5th anniversary of the Jim Masters Show. Commander of the Levities, may you have a splendid celebration. Congratulations once again.
Another legend in the music industry, and so is this fine gentleman who's a dear friend and lover of the Jim Masters Show. He's been here several times. Tony Orlando.
Well, Jim Masters, 5-year anniversary. Congratulations. Let me just share this with you, okay? We're living in a podcast time. Hundreds of millions of podcasts. And I've had the opportunity to do many of those. I just want you to know that you made me welcome. You knew what you're talking about. We became friends from the very moment we started our interview, and we'll continue to be friends. I'm so happy for you. 5 strong years, and everybody I speak to, those people who watch the interview on your podcast, and my buddies and friends who have done your podcast, we all agree you're very special. Thank you for thinking of me and always having me part of your podcast. And anytime you ever need me, please call me or want me to be on. It's a privilege to be on your show. God bless you and continued success to one of the best in the industry. God love you, Jim. Congratulations. 5 big ones. Yes, sir.
Kind of makes your day. He's one of the best in the industry himself, the incomparable Tony Orlando. All right, gang, that's just a few. You can see those on our 5th anniversary episode, which we did a couple of months back. And wherever you are watching around the day or around the world it is, and whatever time of day it is, thank you so much for being here on the Jim Masters Show. We really, really do appreciate you. We see you out there. We get all of your emails and your comments, and we just love it. I really, truly love having you here. Andy Cahan is one of those cool guys in the industry who's still doing his thing. He said he's in his, I think he said he's around 77, doesn't look it at all. He's enjoying life. He's been in the industry for decades, music industry. And we got a chance to have him here with us exclusively, sharing his story and so much more. And a few surprises too. Some of those stories were something else that he shared. We thank you for being with us as well, everybody. It's really a pleasure when you're with us here on the Jim Masters Show. Thank you so very, very much for watching and for your time, and more great shows coming up. And don't forget, you can also check out the archives. We save these episodes for you. So I encourage you to go back, scroll back on our YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV, and check out some of the amazing guests who've come through JMS as well. Thanks for all of your comments during the show. Thanks for being there as often as you are. I appreciate it so much. And come see us again and continue to spread the word about the Jim Masters Show. It's so great to have you here. We love you all. Take care and be well. And cheers.